Have you ever gone outside on a dark night, gazed up at the stars and pondered, how did we ever get here? How did life actually first start on Earth? Was it an accident? A product of God? Or is there something scientific to explain it that makes sense? The fact is, this has been confounding scientists, philosophers, and theologians for centuries. And today we're going to look at the wonderful theories of how life was created. Try to visualize Earth 4 billion years ago. No animals, no plants, no oxygen to breathe, nothing. Only a burning, churning planet ringed with lava, boiling, tumultuous storms, and a poisonous atmosphere. A blazing, raging planet with periodic meteor showers battering its surface, and oceans, if you can call them oceans, filled with boiling acid water. And amidst all the turmoil, life somehow arose. How did it happen? Let's go step by step. Scientists have come up with a number of theories to explain this. The most widely accepted theory is the Primordial Soup Hypothesis. Life, this theory suggests, started in the sea. Their chemical compounds were deposited over millions of years and clumped together to form more and more complex molecules. Picture a huge bowl of chemicals with carbon, nitrogen, and hydrogen dissolved in it, mixing and interacting for millions of years. And then bang! Lightning does strike. Boom! A chemical reaction forms the building blocks of life: amino acids, proteins, and ultimately the first living cells. But how did we get to something that could make copies of itself from chemicals? In 1953, researchers Stanley Miller and Harold Urey attempted to recreate these early times in the lab. They combined gases such as methane, ammonia, and water and electrified it with lightning. What resulted? They succeeded. They created amino acids, the building blocks of life. This was revolutionary. Is this how life began, however? Not really. There are some scientists who feel that this experiment, wonderful as it was, did not recreate the early history of the Earth properly. There are other theories on the horizon that disagree with this one. Some scientists follow the hydrothermal vent hypothesis, the theory that life began way down in the sea around hydrothermal vents. These vents shoot super hot water that is filled with minerals, which would have created the ideal environment for life to have started. Today we even have bacteria surviving in such harsh environments, indicating to us that life is possible in places unimaginable. Think about it, if life can live in the most hostile places on Earth, what does that say about life in the universe? And then there's the panspermia hypothesis, the idea that life never started on our planet at all. What if space bacteria rode to Earth on asteroids or comets? Sounds like science fiction, but think about it. Scientists have found organic molecules on meteorites, so the building blocks of life could be cosmic. Even proof that some bacteria can survive the unfriendly space environment. So did aliens plant life on Earth? Not possibly as in the movies, but it does leave open the chance that there is life elsewhere in the universe. Wait, there's more. There is also a second theory, the deep-sea alkaline vent hypothesis, which proposes that life could have started in the deep sea, where alkaline vents emitted warm, mineral-rich water. These settings provide natural pH gradients, and these could have driven the chemical reactions required for life. Unlike the restless surface of primitive Earth, such deep-sea habitats were steadier, with a perpetual flow of energy and nutrients. Was this nature's laboratory for the first living cells? And what of RNA replicating molecules? The RNA World Hypothesis is that life began with RNA molecules able to store genetic information and facilitate chemical reactions before DNA existed. RNA may have been the first molecule to replicate itself, and this may have given rise to early life. These early RNA-based forms of life could have eventually evolved into the DNA-based life we are living today. But how did RNA originate in the first place? That is yet to be found. Now let's move to where it gets really interesting. Even assuming that life arose from fundamental molecules, what happened next in order for it to become intelligent, advanced animals like us? Scientists still are not able to say for sure. The jump from primitive chemicals to reproducing cells is unexplained. Was life created and wiped out in cycles before settling on one variety? Were the causes unknown? It evolved over billions of years from tiny microbes to the varied life we know now. There are still some gaps in the jigsaw, though. Others believe the complexity of life indicates that there must be an invisible process of which we are currently unaware. And then there's the simulation theory, a crazy notion that life and quite possibly the universe itself could be a super advanced computer simulation. Some scientists and philosophers suggest that if technology keeps advancing, then future civilizations might create simulated entire worlds. If we can do that, then how can we be certain we are not already in one? This suggestion does not discuss the origins of life in the conventional sense, but does challenge our whole idea of reality. Why should you care about any of this? Because if we understand where life started, then we understand where we are in the universe. If life is able to originate from non-living chemicals, does that mean that life is everywhere in the universe? Are we alone in the universe, or is life endemic in other galaxies? If we can find the key to life initiation, can we ever make life in the lab? Could we terraform Mars and begin life there? These are the kinds of questions that advance science. Ultimately, whether or not you believe that life was the result of natural processes, divine intervention, or alien life, one thing is true: life in and of itself is a miracle. The mere fact that we're here, that we have a mind to think, and that we wonder about how we got here is truly astounding. Perhaps someday we will find out all of the answers, or perhaps the mystery will always remain. The quest for the truth continues nonetheless. What's your theory? How do you think that life started? Leave it in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe, share, and like for more mind-blowing material. Catch you in the next one.